Daily Beats Productions. You are listening to Daily Beats. Daily Beats Productions. You are listening to Daily Beats. Daily Beats Productions. You are listening to Daily Beats. Daily Beats Productions. You are listening to Daily Beats. Daily Beats Productions. Daily Beats Productions. You are listening to Daily Beats.
What up, YouTube? My name is Tiago Duarte, and welcome to another live stream here at Daily Beats. And this is the producer show. And in these live streams, I will answer some of the questions that I have here related to music production. As you can tell, this is a little bit different, the scenario. So I'm sitting down today, and I was not in the mood to stand up for 1 hour. So I've been playing some pool today with some friends. So I had all my standing time for today. So today I was feeling a little bit lazy. So I was like, yeah, let me just do this sitting down. It should not matter in terms of the content. And yeah, so I will be doing these live streams every Saturday at around 6 p.m. GMT +2, which is the Berlin time. I'm located in Stuttgart, so that's the time zone that I'm here. And the idea for these live streams is to collect your answers and help you out and give some videos here answering your questions so that I can help you speed up your learning curve and help you figure things out faster in the DAW so that you can make music faster or become a better producer faster. And the idea for my channel, for Daily Beats channel, is master the software so that it's just you and music. So I think that's a very powerful thing. And that's why I do these videos so that I can help you out accelerate your learning process. So whenever you jump into a DAW or either FL Studio or DAW or Ableton or Studio One, those are the three that I use the most. You will be able to just jump on the DAW and start making music without thinking too much about it. And that's when you start really extracting all of your creativity and bringing all of your feelings to the music. And I think that's a really cool place to be. So with that out of the way, if you have any questions, you can leave them here in the chat. I will be answering the questions in the chat if I have time. I also have a link in the description where you can subscribe to the newsletter. And in that newsletter, I will be sending forms where you can post your questions. And the questions in the forms will have a higher priority. So I will collect the questions in the forms, and those will be the questions that I come in prepared before doing the live, and those are the questions that I will answer first, and then if I have the time I will do the extra questions from the chat. But don't be shy, say hi in the chat, let me know that you are watching. And yeah, I can always, as you can see, you can also see the chat here, and you can also interact with me and ask me whatever you are feeling like too. So I think that's it. There's a couple of projects that I'm working with, just a quick update on the projects that I'm working with. As I told you, I'm doing, I don't know if I can call this a mixtape, but yeah, it's like a beat mixtape where some rappers sing on my tracks or my beats, and then I mix, master, and do all the editing for the songs. And that project with the Portuguese rappers is going really well. I already have 3 tracks, and those are sounding amazing. So stay tuned for that. New music is coming out, new courses and all that stuff. Let's jump right into the questions that I have here today. And the first question is a nice question, and is how to make jazzy beats. So I'm not going to make beats here. That's not the intent of this live stream. The idea of this live stream is to answer questions, but I will give you some tools or some recommendations that you can do in terms of chord progressions and the drums that you can use to make your tracks a little bit more jazzy and have that really cool jazz vibe that we like in hip hop. One good artist that you can watch or that you can listen for some inspiration is Guru. He has like, I think four what's the word that I'm looking for? He has 4 albums. They are called Jazzmatazz, and they sound really, really cool. They have a really strong jazzy vibe mixed with hip hop. So I think that's a really, really cool thing to go and get some knowledge in that sense. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead into FL Studio. And as you can see now, FL Studio is a little bit different. At least I have the full screen here so that you can see pretty much everything. And I think that makes it a little bit easier. And I can always go back here to this live camera. So in FL Studio, let's see. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to try to explain you in terms of like doing a chord progression. And usually in jazz, or if you want to have that jazzy vibe, I would recommend you to do some type of seventh chord. So let's do a chord progression for this one, and I will show you what I mean. So let's do with Addictive Keys, which is just a normal piano. You could do also this with any piano that you have in your DAW. And let's go here. Let's choose a key. Let's go, for instance, let's go with a simple key. View. Let's go with A minor, which is all the white notes, but let me go to a different one. Let's go to natural. I think this is the one that I'm referring to. So as you can see, all the white notes. Okay, so maybe let's go one octave down. Yeah, let's start here between A4 and A5. So let's make a chord progression here. And what we can do is go here to advanced, or to the stamp mode or menu actually. And as you can see, we have major seventh, minor seventh, and we can even go to the ninth. But I would say that if you want to get a jazzy vibe, you can stay between or in these two, the seventh, which is basically a major with an extra note. I think it's the ninth, the seventh note of the, not the ninth, it's the seventh note of the scale. So let's do that, and let's bring this one here, and let's extend this. Oops. Let's select all of them and let's extend them. And let's go maybe one octave higher. And you see, we already have this jazzy feel. So if I take this off, and maybe, yeah, this is actually, let's go with this one. So this is a minor. Did I select major? Maybe. So now let's add the seventh. And automatically we get a jazzy vibe. As you can see, this is a normal triad, and with the seventh, it gives this really cool jazzy vibe. So let's expand this chord progression, and we can either go up and go down. I think for this one, I will try to go down. Let's go maybe now with a major. Let's go down again. And maybe we can go, let's do an inversion here. And maybe let's put this one here. Let's see if this sounds cool with the first one. Yeah, that sounds good. So now we have to find something here for the middle. Let's go maybe, let's go here. Let's move these notes around and let's see if this sounds cool. Okay, so basically these are the same notes with just an inversion, and we can maybe try to invert this one. Let's see if this sounds cool. No, I think no. Not, I think no. Let's go maybe a different chord, and let's try this one. And we can also do an inversion. Now sounds better. Okay, as you can see, this sounds jazzy, and especially now, let's take this one and let's make this maybe with a synth. And let's do, let me see, we have here, I was thinking about having some kind of saw synth. Let's go with sawer. Let's see if we have any saw preset here. Let's see. I don't like too much of these synths here. Let's see. Let's go maybe one octave lower. Oh, this is a monophonic. So let's go. Let's see this default. I like this. So let's maybe take a little bit of the high frequencies. It's too bright here. Let's do a low cut or a low pass. And this sounds better. So now, as you can see, this sounds jazzy, has a really cool jazzy vibe that we could try to make something out of this. And so this is the first tip that I would give, is to do start doing chord progressions with seventh notes, and that usually gives it a more jazzy vibe. And I really like that. This is kind of a trick, let's say. It's not a trick, but if you want to make these lush chords that sound jazzy, you can just quickly add a seventh note and you will get this really cool jazzy vibe. Next up, one of the things that I like to do, especially in hip hop, I like to mix both more hard drums, and I also mix with some jazzy drums. So if we go here, for instance, to the FPC, there's a preset called Jazzy Jazz Kit HQ, which is high quality jazz kit. And if we load this, you will see that we have a couple of different sounds. So I would use something like this. You know, this could work at least for hi-hats. And this is a really cool thing for hi-hats. You could just, let's do just simple hi-hats, just to start a groove here. Let's see. Let's do maybe a pedal here or the open there. Something like that. I mean, I'm not trying to make a beat here, but the idea is to just add this just load a jazzy kit or a jazz kit, a jazz drum kit. And we can also add a little bit of swing. So already a really cool vibe. Another thing that you can also do is load, for instance, one good thing that I like about Strike. This is a very inexpensive plugin, and it gives us some really cool drum kits. And there are some jazz presets here. So let's listen. You see, using this type of brushes instead of actual, what's the word? The sticks that you use for a drum kit. Instead of using that, you can use some type of brushes. And this can really give a jazzy vibe also. You could use loops like this. This can also be a good starting point. But as you can see, using brushes would be a really cool thing also. As you can see, these type of brushes really give that jazz vibe. So this would be my tips on how to make jazzy beats. Just if you want to do some chords, just add the seventh note in the scale, and you will be able to add some really cool lush and really jazzy chord progressions. And if you don't know the seventh chord, you have this option here to use the stamp. So let's see here. This is a minor seventh. As you can see, we can just go here, select the one that we want, and then click whenever or the note that we want, a root note, and it automatically creates a 7th chord for us. And we can even go and play around with some rhythms. Let me see. Let's make you put another one here. And let's see, what can we do? Let's put here, see if this sounds good. Of course, we could also make the rest of the track like that. And let's do something like that. I like that. Let's maybe put this one here. I like that. Da, da, da. So as you can see, it's not that hard to get a jazzy vibe in terms of chord progressions. And of course, then you could just bring some drum kits that are designed for jazzes, for jazz, or maybe get a drum kit based on brushes instead of normal drumsticks. So I hope that answered the question. What else do we have here? Let's see, we have another question here, which is, by the way, if you guys are joining the live stream, just put a hi in the chat so that I know that you are here. And if you want to interact with me, you can just post stuff on the chat. Doesn't have to be just questions. Let's see the next question that I have here. The next question is how to route channels in the mixer. So this is a good one. And it's not a hard thing, but it has some options that we can explore, and it can help you out, speed up your process. So let's go into FL Studio, and let's do, actually, wait a second. Let's skip this. Let's go to a new pattern, just in case. And one way to just route stuff in FL Studio is you have these options here, the mixer, the target mixer track. And basically, whenever you put a number here, you will be setting this as the track that you want in the mixer. So in this case, I have the keyboard here. And as you can see, whenever I play a note, I get audio here in the mixer. So if I want to route these to, let's say that I have a group that I'm going to call mix or beat. Let's do beat, for instance. And let's do that. Let's say I want to route this track here, which is my synth. I want to route this into the beat. What can I do is I go here to the arrows. As you can see, all the audio that is into this track, that is coming from in this track, going through the processing and then out, then is going to be routed throughout these lines here. And as you can see, we have multiple lines. We can connect these to any single channel or track or insert here in the mixer. And we do so by clicking here. And as you can see, as I hover this, over the insert to, this starts to give me a different line here or different color that I can just either click once, and whenever I click, you see that it automatically gave me volume here. And if I remove this one from here, you see that it disappears, and now all the sounds coming from the synth insert will be going to the beat insert. And that's as simple as it gets in terms of routing stuff. And there are a couple of other things that we can take a look at. And the other thing is, for instance, we can change the volume of the audio coming out from synth channel into the mixer. We can change the volume here, and louder, smoother, or softer. And if I right click here, we can, let's say, let me show you correctly this one. So let's say that I want to show a different panel. If I right click on this button here, you see that I have a couple of options. Actually, let me bring the mixer a little bit up so that you can fully see what I'm seeing, and maybe a little bit further. Yeah, now you can see. So I have route to this track only, and sidechain to this track, and sidechain to this track only. These are some really cool options that we can take advantage. Let's say that I have this one routed to the master, but I just want synth to be routed to the beat. What I can do is I select synth, and then I right click here, and then I do route to this track only. And what happens is that all the connections that I have into the other tracks, so let's say that I have all these connections here, and now if I play this, it's going to be very loud because it has all these copies into all these channels. But let's say that I want to remove all of these connections and send only to the beat. I can select this one, right click, and route to this track only. And this routes to this track and removes all the connections that we have on the other channels. So I think that's pretty much it. You can also do some side chaining. So if you want sidechain, the sidechain option here is basically a routing with no volume. And that's pretty much it. You will be sending information to this channel to use some type of sidechain processing, but you will not have any volume going into from the synth into the beat. And that's pretty much it in terms of how to work with the mixer. It's very straightforward, but it can save you a couple of minutes or a couple of headaches if you know how this works. And you can also send this to these inserts here. These inserts are for effects and stuff like that. And you can do some very sophisticated routing here in the mixer. But first you have to understand how the routing works and why we do it this way. So I hope that answered the question. Let's see here. I have a question from Ruben Teixeira. Hi, this class is about what? This is not actually a class. This is a live stream where the idea for this one is to answer some of the questions that you guys send me. And if you have any questions about music production, you can leave them in the chat, and I will do my best to answer them here in FL Studio or Studio One, and also Ableton. But mostly my main DAW is FL Studio and Studio One, because FL Studio I use it to make beats, and Studio One I use it to mixing and to mix tracks and to edit tracks or edit audio for instance vocals. So this is not actually a class. It's more like a live stream where I gather all of your questions and try to my best to answer them and give you some cool answers so that I can help you speed up your process and your learning curve so that you become a better producer faster. And yeah, so if you have how do you do music from zero? I am also FL Studio. I mean, I have a bunch of tutorials on Daily Beats, the channel, where you can do. There are a couple of series from start to finish. I mean, usually those making a song or a project from start to finish takes me a couple of hours or maybe a couple of days, sometimes weeks. And I do it over the course of several weeks or several tutorials, but usually it takes me like 5 to 6 tutorials to make a track from start to finish. And I have a couple of tracks or a couple of tutorials like that in the channel. So if you want to look that up, you will find a lot of information about that in the channel. Another one here from Alensis. Hi. Oh, €1. Thank you very much. I think this is the first donation that I have. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate. And yeah, I will. Oh, that's really nice, man. I'm. It's just €1, but I'm out of words. I don't even know how to explain the joy that I'm feeling about at this moment. This is a really cool thing. Thank you very much. I have difficulties in combining the drop with the melody. Yeah, I think I also had those difficulties in the beginning when I started producing, especially techno and EDM. That also made me a little bit making the drop and melodies and stuff like that. But I don't know, combining the drop with the melody. It's a little bit vague. I'm not sure what's the context there, so it's kind of hard to give you some explanation in that sense. But at the same time, it's like I would like to give you some. I think I have a couple of projects that I did in terms of EDM. Those were a little bit. Really cool. Let's see, another euro from Alensis. Thank you very much, man. Uh, to be honest, you are making my day today. It's really cool. Thank you very much. I really appreciate all the effort and all the support. So thanks. Let's see the other question here. I started producing EDM in 2017, but I didn't know how to use FL Studio. I saw a lot of tutorials in your channel. Okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, it's keep going. One other thing that really helped me was taking courses, and that gave me a really high. How can I say it put me in a different level. And it's I know sometimes it's like, yeah, but I don't want to invest money on this because I don't make money on music. But as like everything, for instance, if you want to become let's say I'm also a software engineer, I had to go through college and I had to invest money. I had to buy books, I have to pay the tuition, I have to do all of that stuff, so that I could become an engineer and that I could make money or earn money as an engineer. So I think you if you are serious about your music career, you can have a lot of content for free in YouTube, and that's good. But if you want to take it to the next level, I think buying courses are a cool option, and it can really accelerate the it can really accelerate your process. And there are a bunch of courses out there. I have a couple of courses at dailybits.pt. There's also other platforms. One platform that I really like is what is it? The name is let me see. I have here. I got an email to renew my membership with them, which is, let me see, Sonic Academy. I really like Sonic Academy. I think they have really cool content, and I've learned a lot with them. Another one, I took some courses from Recording Revolution. Graham, I think, is one of the most not the most, but he has a really cool following, and the courses are really good. A little bit expensive, but really good. You will get a lot of knowledge from that. And I don't know, it's just I bet you will find a lot of courses online that you can take to accelerate some of your learning. And I hope here with this content that I do here for YouTube with you guys, I hope also to be able to support you in that sense, to give you some courses, give you some free tips here with these live streams, so that I can help you speed up your process. But yeah, I think. But going back to the courses that I mentioned, Sonic Academy is very good for trap and for techno. Some EDM, it might be okay, maybe house also, but I'm not sure about EDM too much. So maybe you want to search for some other artists or producers that give some courses on that. But the Sonic Academy is really good for trap and house and techno. Then Recording Revolution is more for mixing. So if you want to learn the fundamentals of mixing, that's a good place to go for. And again, some of my courses, I try to combine everything into one or two courses like that. So yeah, I think that would be a good thing. Let's see. from T30D0R0TT. I hope that's how you pronounce this. Man, I love you. Thank you very much. I would love to produce Big Room. Yeah, cool, man. I think it's a really cool genre. I don't know too much of the genres of this genre, Big Room, Big Room. But yeah. Let's see. Rui Teixeira. How many time does it take to get to produce a good song? I mean, I've been doing this for I think 15 years, but I think at the time when I started to make music, there were no no, how can I say, there were no uh, there was no YouTube when I started out, you know. So yeah, I think nowadays you have a lot of options on YouTube, a lot of courses, a lot of people with good knowledge that are sharing some good courses, affordable courses. So I think you can. It depends a little bit, but and also depends on your what effort. So if you make music every single day and you take the courses and you apply the learning that you do, it can take you, I don't know, maybe between 6 months to maybe a couple of years. I think that will be, if you do it like regularly and if you take time to really master your craft. Nowadays it can be really really fast to make good music if you have good teachers and if you invest the right amount in the right courses, and of course if you practice. That's all about practicing, and that's why I name my channel Daily Beats. It's all about doing something every single day to improve your practice. But don't focus too much about how much time it will take. Focus more on learning the stuff correctly. Focus on becoming a better producer or learning the essentials, learning music theory, learning mixing, mastering, the concepts of arrangement. Focus more on the process itself. Don't focus on how long it's going to take, because it might take you 6 months. It might take you 5 years. It doesn't matter. What matters is, like, at the end, are you happy with your content? Are you happy with the level that you have? And I think that's some of the mindset that you should have to get to reach a good point. Don't focus on time. We nowadays want everything for yesterday, but that's not the best approach to music or to something that you like. Just take your time. Just focus on making good music or improving your skills as a musician, and the good music will come in eventually if you put a lot of enough effort into the craft, and if you start making making this a priority in your life, the good music will come. Let's see. Okay, let me see here. So if you guys, I don't know, Alensis, if you have, looks like you have some of your a YouTube channel also. So if people want to go and access some of the tutorials they have, or Alensis have some electronic music tutorials there. So maybe Ruben, if you want to go check that out, you can go to Alensis YouTube channel and also check out and subscribe there to see what type of stuff do they have. Let me see. Can you give some feedback about this song? Let me keep this for another day. Today I have a bunch of questions already to answer, but let's see. But I will keep this to give some feedback, and we can maybe go back, or I can do an analysis of this song some other day. But thanks for the recommendation. Let's see. So, guys, if you are here watching the live stream, I think Alensis also has a YouTube channel. So go there, subscribe, and support also other creators, because that's how we grow together. Yeah, I have a couple of videos about music theory, so just search on the channel. To search on the channel, you can just go, let me see. Let's see if I can show you this quickly. Let's go Daily Beats. And, oops, that's not what I meant. Yeah, if you go to the channel, you will be able to, maybe because I'm the owner of the channel, I cannot show you, but usually you get, okay, maybe I can. Let me see. Let's see if I can do this. Sorry guys, and let's go to this view. And as you can see, if you click here, if you go to dailybeats.pt, you can click here and search in the channel. Let's call this teoria musical. Maybe you will find, yeah. So as you can see, let me copy this one, copy link address. Can I reply to you? No, maybe I can put here. So this is one of the videos that I have about scales and chords. And as you can see, as I've searched for music theory, you will find some videos. These are in Portuguese. So if you want to search for this in English, music theory, you will probably find some stuff also. So scales and chords, music theory, FL Studio, minor scale, the major scale. So I have a bunch of videos. They are a little bit old, so my knowledge now is way better, but this will give you a baseline for you to go ahead and search for or get some knowledge. So yeah, let's jump into the next question. And by the way, thank you very much for all the questions and all the interactivity. Interactivity, is that a word? All the activity here in the channel. I really appreciate that. And thanks again for Alensis for all the donations. That really makes me really happy for that. So let's go now to the next question. And the next question is called, what is... by the way, guys, if you want to put your questions and you want me to answer your questions here in the channel, I have a link in the description where you can go and subscribe to the newsletter. And in this newsletter, I'm going to just send you forms where you can post your questions. I usually send a form like Friday so that you can ask your questions, so that on the Saturday I will get those questions, and those have higher priority here, and I will answer those questions for sure in the live stream. And sometimes you might put a question in the chat, and I might not have enough time to answer the question in the chat. But if you go to the newsletter and subscribe, you will be able to ask the questions there, and those questions will have a higher priority here in the channel or in the live streams. So let's go here. What is double tempo? So double tempo is something that we use when we are mostly making trap beats. And that's something that it's a nice concept that, let's take this off. And usually when I'm making trap is between 140 and 160. So let's go maybe around that. Let's load a drum kit so that I can show you what is double tempo. So let's see, let me load a kit here, maybe this one. Okay, good enough. So usually when we are counting time, we count in steps. So this here represents steps. So every single point that we put here is a step. And then we can combine these into beats. So if we go to the piano roll, and we can see that we are in step mode, and we have the same grid as we had in the channel rack. So now if I do something like, let me take the mixer. If I put something here, you see, if I take that, it's the size of one step. Now 4 steps is a beat, and 4 beats is a bar. So that's the basic measure of, as you can see, this is a full bar. And if I put beat, then we have 4 beats here. And if I go back again to step, we have 4 steps in one beat. So what happens here is that when we count time in beats. So let's call this, for instance, is BPMs, so beats per minute. And if we enable the metronome, we will see that this will be beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, and beat 4. So let's do the counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Another thing that we normally do in music is whenever we get to beat 2, this one, instead of saying 1, we say 2. And when we go to beat 3, instead of saying 1 again, we go to beat 3. And the same goes for beat 4. So it's normal that sometimes we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. So this the first number here shows us or gives us the indication of in which beat or in which bar we are in. So this is the normal counting of tempo here in FL Studio. What we like to do is when we are doing trap, usually we put, or when we are doing normal, I don't want to say normal music, but when we are doing the other genres of music, what we do is we have on the second and fourth beat, we have a snare. So if I go here, for instance, let's go to a normal hip hop tempo, which is this one. And I usually put the kick here, snare, kick, and snare. So this is the normal tempo that we have, that we are used to it, for instance, in hip hop. If I want to go, for instance, to do some trap, I usually go in double tempo. And what it happens is that, let's go to 145. Instead of having the snare on the second and fourth, now I will have the snare on the third. And now if we do this, and now you get this idea now of a kind of a trap feeling. So this is the double tempo here. So instead of putting all the snares on the beat 2 and 4, we now moved it to beat 3. What happens is that before in the method that the normal tempo, let's say, we would have 2 snares in every bar. And now we only have 1 snare in every bar. So this kind of gives us the half time that we are talking about. So this is the way that I go about in terms of double or half time. And this is usually how I do my trap beats. Okay, so I hope that answered the question. Let's go now here to the other one. How to give space to beats. So this is something that I really like to do in my productions, and it's something that I really enjoy doing, which is something really cool that helps me to give some space to the tracks. And one of those things. Let's go ahead. Let me bring some loops. I have a couple of sample packs here that we can use. That will help us get some loops going on fast. So let's bring all these loops here so that we can have a quick beat instead of me doing an entire. I forgot this is. I have here the loop. Let's bring the piano, and okay. So this is the beat. Let me take out the hi-hats and let me take the kick, and let's bring this to the mixer, and let's put this 1, 2, and 3, and let's bring this down a little bit. Okay, so we have a beat here. Simple beat. What I usually like to do, and this goes also with the question of how to route channels in the mixer. So let's say that I want this as my mix or my beat. What I do is I take all my channels, I route them to the track. Let's route to this track only. And now I have everything into this mix channel. And then I like to do something that I call the auxiliary reverb. And I like to do this because it really gives some space to the track. So sometimes when you are producing and you're putting snares, the snares sound very clean and very, very dry. And I like to give it some effects to put the track in some space, let's say. And to do that, I go here and I start adding, for instance, in this one, let's call this auxiliary reverb. And let's bring a filter. One of the things that I like to do is bring a filter for applying some high pass filter like that. So I don't want any low end in my auxiliary reverb. And then one of the plugins that I really love to do this is the IRL full stereo. And as you will see, as soon as this loads, this will give me a bunch of places. So I have here, and this plugin is a convolution plugin. And a convolution plugin basically just gives you some wave files that you load into the plugin, and this will put convolution into the the process is called convolution. It's a little bit technical and I don't want to go into it, but it's one of the best ways to do reverbs, and in my opinion, of course. But as you can see, we have some arenas, auditoriums, churches. So let's say that I want to put this track like it was playing in a church. I'll go here, let's do the Centron Church, like that. And now let's listen. And now we can start applying a little bit of volume into the auxiliary reverb, and you will start to feel that the sound is coming out of a church or is playing in a church. So this is, of course, is a little bit too much, but it's just to show you the idea of how to add space to your sounds or to your tracks. One of the ways that I like to do is using some auxiliary reverb. So let's try a different one, and let's go, for instance, a concert hall. Let's go this big hall. As you can see, automatically it puts you in a different environment. Let's go, for instance, just another one. Maybe let's go to a club, and let's go High Moon Salon. I don't know this club, but might be cool. As you can see, with changing this type of sounds or this type of environments with this convolution reverb, we can do something like that. If you don't have ERL full stereo, you can also do this with the Reverb Fruity Convolver. And let's go here, and as you can see, we have chambers, we have corridors, let's see what else we have, guitar cabins, real spaces. Let's see here, we have a cave. Let's use this one, might be cool. And let's take the dry, let's use just the wetness. That's cool. Let's see something else. We have some halls here, reverb devices, small rooms. Let's go into a small room. Let's see. Empty the way. I don't know, this one. Let's take the auxiliary reverb. Okay, let's see another one just to give you a big difference. Maybe a big hall, something like that. Let's see large hall, and you will see the difference. So this is one of the ways that I really like to use to give some space to my tracks. And I use this in every single track. There's no track that I produce that doesn't have an auxiliary reverb, because this just makes it so that, this just makes it the track sound way more interesting, and it can really make your track. Believe me, I made beats in the past where I would do the beat, and I would like the beat, and whenever I would do some auxiliary reverb, the beat will go to it would make so much sense in the track, and the track would become alive. And that's something that if you see the technical side of it, everything that you reproduce, except if you are listening only with headphones. But for instance, let's say you are outside in anywhere and you have your cell phones or your speakers, you always have reflections. You always have everything. The sound doesn't go only into your ear and that's it. You always have reflections on the walls, on the floors, on other people, so or objects. And using this process of adding an auxiliary reverb can really make your track feel natural. So I use it in all my tracks so that they feel natural and they feel that they belong to something, that brings you to a place where even sometimes it's just not too much noticeable, and you might not say, oh, that's a large hole or that's a arena or something like that, but it kind of transpose you to that feeling, to that place. And that's why I really like to do this. And lastly but not least, we have the last question here, and we are almost at 1 hour. And this question is how to create a mid-side EQ in Patcher. So this is a really good question, and I'm going to actually use the same how can I say, the same project here. So let me switch to FL Studio, and let's do that. And so we have here the project, the beat actually. Okay, so now let's do FL Studio, a mid-side EQ in Patcher. So let's go here, Patcher. Let's load Patcher. And if I play now, nothing happens because there's no connection between Patcher and the input and the output of Patcher. You can also go here and we have a mid-side internal EQ sidechain, but maybe this mid-side would be enough. But I want to show you the entire process that I usually do to create these processors or these effects. So one thing that I like to do is bring a stereo shaper. And if I go here, I go and I select, for instance, this mixing, and let's do mid A side splitter like that. And now if I listen to this, the track became mono. So how can I now bring the other side into the mixer? So what I can, or into the path, the audio path, what I can do is go here, output, audio, and I'm not sure which one is it by memory. So let's go with send one. Let's mute the other one. It's not send one. Probably send two. Let's try send two. Yeah, it's send. Oops, let me take this out. Okay, so we have this one here, which is the side section. And we have this one, which is the mono. So both together, they sound as the beat normally. If I take the patcher off, you notice no difference. So now what I like to do, I like to add a plugin. So let's do the fidelity cue. And let's bring, for instance, for the side here, and let's add another fidelity cue. And you can use whatever plugin you want. And you just add this up, and now you have a mid-side EQ. So what I can do is mute the mono side and then start just changing here the parameters. Let's bring a little bit of the high frequencies, like that, for instance, just an example. And I can go here and start doing some EQ into the mono side. So I like the bass. Let's bring this a little bit higher. And what else? Let's take this out a little bit. Like that. So I want to make a little bit drastic changes so that you can really see the effect. So now if I go and enable and disable, you see that you can really craft or not craft, maybe not crab, carve. Sorry, I'm switching the terms. You can really change the way the sound your track sounds by using this mid-side EQ, and it's one of the best tools that I excuse me. It's one of the best tools that I like to use for mastering, because I can really change how it sounds or improve the sound in terms of mono and side compatibility. And I think this is a really cool tool to have. And if you like to do this, you can just go ahead and save this preset as, and you can have your own preset with your own configurations, and this can really speed up your process of making beats. Okay, so I think that's it for all the questions that I have today here saved. Again, thank you everyone that was alive here in the chat, that was asking questions and interacting. I really appreciate your support and you being present in the live stream. I want to personally thank Alensis for the donations. Those were my first donations in the live stream, so I really appreciate that, and it really makes me feel happy. And yeah, thanks for all the support here in the channel. The channel is growing, and I really like the way the channel is growing, and I appreciate all of your effort. And again, I'm here to try to give you some good knowledge, or to try to help you master the software, so that it's just you and music. That's the theme of the channel, and I stand by it. And that's the main idea for this channel, is to support you guys and try to make you better producers, and try to not try to speed up your learning curve. Again, I want to finish with some announcements. I will be doing these live streams every Saturday at around 6 p.m. GMT +2, which is the Berlin time, and I'm located in Stuttgart, so you can always look for the different time zones or the difference in the time zones to see if you can join the next live stream. If you want, you can subscribe to the newsletter, and I will be sending forms where you can just ask your questions there, and those forms those questions will have a higher priority here in these live streams, and I will be able to answer those questions, or I will make sure that those questions are answered, and that I really help you, the subscribers of the newsletter. Those have a little bit higher priority because they take the time to subscribe and to be part of the community. So I think that's it. To be honest, this was one of the best live streams that I had, mainly because of the interaction that I had with you guys, and also, of course, with the donations that I got from Alensis. I really appreciate, and I'm going to search to see if you have a YouTube channel, and I'm going to subscribe and to give some support back. Again, I really appreciate all of your support, and yeah, I think that's it. I'll see you soon, and yeah, maybe next Saturday, and I'll see you.